What's up, Colby Sharp, 5th grade teacher. Welcome to my annual classroom library tour. I wasn't going to do a library tour this year because we are moving. We are moving schools halfway through the year, and I'm like, I don't really want to do a classroom library tour. Maybe I'll do one, show everybody what it looks like in the new space, but I thought it would be fun to document the last library tour here at the elementary that I went to as a kid, that my siblings went to, that my kids have gone to, and that my dad actually went to this elementary school in the late 50s, early 60s. So this is the very last classroom library tour, my hometown school, my own personal elementary school, and I'm very, very excited to show you around. Let's start with a quick, just 360 view so you can kind of get a feel. A lot of people say my classroom looks large. To me, it actually looks gigantic because of some changes that I've made lately getting ready to go into the new building. So there's a 360-degree tour. I love this whiteboard table. Work with a lot of groups there. I also like to work with groups at the stand-up desk where we can sit on stools. It's a lot of fun. All right, we'll just start here. This is where their mailbox is, but these are all of the picture books that I have in my classroom. These used to be filled. All of the shelves were filled with picture books. I have these binders that the kids are going to get once school starts. Because I had to clear this shelf and cleared this shelf. Here, actually, there were supplies on the shelf. These are all the books that I haven't gotten to get ready for the classroom library in time for the first day, which is okay because the classroom library is new. So there'll be a lot of new books for the kids, and we'll work on getting those into the library. But all of my book-a-day books there that we end the day with, it's exciting. I did get rid of about 150 picture books during the last 9 months to make room for this move. If you've seen these videos in the past, you know that I used to have a bookshelf, like a series of bookshelves that would go all the way along the front of the room. And those were just filled with realistic fiction books, poetry books, historical fiction books, and fantasy books. But those have since moved. We'll get to there in a second. These are my first two read-alouds. Our first chapter book read-aloud is The Strange Case of Origami Yoda. Our first picture book read-aloud is This Is a School. Two of my favorites. So this is the realistic fiction section of the library. You can see they're ordered by author, last name. You can see the numbers there. So realistic fiction tub A, that's just realistic fiction books written by authors with the last names that start with A, and the number 1, just so kids know where to put the books, not leveled or anything like that. You can kind of see some of the tubs now have multiple letters as we've kind of tried to condense this section of the library. Fantasy here. Fantasy used to be twice as big. Realistic fiction used to be twice as big as well. But we're really trying to tighten things up. We're moving to a much smaller classroom where I can't bring an outside bookshelf, so I got to get this collection very tight. Historical fiction here. I really need to beef up that section, but we don't have any room. All right, then we move into graphic novels by author, last name. Missing a label there. I noticed one over there too is missing a label. Got to work on that before. If we don't get it by the first day, that's okay. All right, this is a piece of Deborah Friedman art that she sent my classroom. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, these all here will be where our picture book read-alouds will be. So at the end of the first day, I will take this book and put it here. And then day 2, all the way until we get to 24. And then at all times the rest of the year, at least until we move, you'll be able to see the last 24 picture books we read. And then after book 25, I'll replace this one and then just replace them as we go. So it's always the most recent 24 books we've read. Look, this is cool, from Dave Pilkey. And he sent me this thank you card too, which is really nice. I love that. Okay. So yeah, graphic novels, author and series start here, and then those continue over here. This says Wimpy Kid, but these are the Sunny books, so this needs a new label. See, when I was making the library, weeding it and making it more condensed and tight, a lot of the baskets were broken, and so I would replace them with baskets that weren't as in bad shape, but this one has an old sticker, so that needs to change. You can see we got a lot of high-lows. Wimpy Kid has kind of taken over the world. Authors and series. And then coming over here, this will be graphic novels by author, last name. Let's fill those 2 shelves. And then we get into biographies, kind of organize those by different topics about the person's life. Then we get into some informational books, starting with some animal books, science habitats, maps, science weather. Missing a label there. I think that's oceans, and maybe that's another habitat. I think it's actually maybe just backwards. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. It's a choppy video. Yeah, science habitats. Get into more science topics, down into some social studies topics. You'll notice yellow. Yellow means that they are nonfiction baskets. The green ones are fiction baskets. And every once in a while, we'll have like a Gary Paulson who's green. That means there's a mixture of fiction and nonfiction. So after we finish up with our informational nonfiction there, we move into books organized by author. Some of the popular authors we have in series. Another one that needs a label. Hopefully this lets you know that it doesn't have to be perfect. We all get there. And then down here, some poetry books. Got this cool sign here. Ivan, of course. Our third day of school read aloud will be this, Sam and Dave Dig a Hole. We do Weird Book Fridays where we read weird books every Friday. And this book was my class's favorite book of the year last year. So they all signed it. And they were the last class that will finish Parma Elementary here. So how it works is at the end of the year, we always vote on our favorite book of the year. And whichever book is selected becomes next year's, when I introduce how we're going to do that at the end of the year, vote for our favorite picture book. And I promise that whatever book they pick will be read the first week of school during the next year. Thanks for checking out my classroom library tour. It was a lot of fun to kind of show you the ins and outs. Sorry it wasn't more pretty and perfect. That's just, not my style. Nothing wrong with a beautiful, pretty classroom. I love checking those out as well. I was thinking, Donald Miller and I wrote the Commonsense Guide to Your Classroom Library. And I was thinking that this week, the kids from the Commonsense Guide to Your Classroom Library, my 5th graders, they're going to be high schoolers. They're leaving elementary school for high school. And it's just so wild to think about the kids that we teach here and the grades that we teach go on to do amazing things. They continue to learn, they continue to grow. And so much of that is built upon the foundation of the books that they read, the books that we read aloud to them. So thank you for sharing books with kids. Thank you for taking this tour of the classroom library. It means the world to me. My name is Colby Sharp. Hope you have an awesome, fantastic